Is that it? Catch this! Flying dragon!
Excuse me? Hold it! Oh, wait.
Is that it?
Expect a spanking from Kalina. Oh, wait.
rock! Hey, do your job! Let's rock! Catch this! Catch this! Rising Dragon!
Hey dudes, welcome to Mission 5 where I'll be rocking Nevan and Swordmaster for the first time this playthrough. This is one of the longest missions in the game owing to the addition of the Jester fight for the special edition, so there's a lot to talk about. The blood goyles are fairly simple. Lure them into the corner, turn them to stone with Kalina and proceed to do whatever you want to them. Playing around with Nevan here is a lot of fun and shurikens are a good way to build Devil Trigger. You can use these guys to farm orbs pretty effectively if you're worried about hitting the requirements, but with the strategies I use later, I don't need to worry about this. Jester is a pain. Everything he does is long and slow, and he takes a good few cycles to die. By using Nevan and Swordmaster, I can float over his attacks for the majority of the time they're active, and then use air raid to stay above once Nevan flying drops too low. I aim to do about a quarter of his HP per cycle so I can finish him off after he attacks 3 times, which is relatively straightforward with some basic Devil Trigger management. Taunting regularly and doing 3 to 4 orb explosions allows me to hold on to enough to do air raid as required, while also dealing the damage I need. The Enigma room strikes back with a vengeance, and I'll be using a significantly different tactic here than the one I used for Mission 4. The first order of business is to kill off both sloths in the order they spawn in to avoid Devil Trigger, allowing me to focus exclusively on the Enigmas. The Enigmas here also skate around to get away from you, which is a pain at times but can be manipulated to your advantage, although it's finicky. I want to isolate the Enigmas so I only have one on camera and can focus it down, but some of the others skate in. Luckily, Nevan has me covered, and this is where it really shines. The bat's ability to destroy arrows and rack up massive style points in the process. They're summoned in a circle around you, so you're essentially invulnerable as long as you have at least a few bats charged up. An alternative strategy for this section is to knock them over with Kalina, but it takes 3 rocket hits to do so, and without Royal Guard to cancel the animation quickly, it's a coin flip of whether or not you'll be able to hit it 3 times before it lights you up with arrows. By continuing this strategy, I can slowly whittle them down and clear out the room safely, and collect orbs along the way. The elevator is a ton of fun, and a further workout of the myriad tools from Swordmaster. Annihilating these dudes with Volcano is a nice reward for making it through the previous fights, and allows you to easily meet the mission's orb requirement, provided you haven't completely messed up earlier. Agni and Rudra are one of my absolute favourite boss fights, and taking them on with Royal Guard is immensely satisfying. Standing in between them is actually the safest place you can be. If you're in their close attack range, they'll only use their basic swings on you and score hits on each other constantly. If they get pushed back by each other, they'll occasionally charge their weapons instead of attacking, but it's not really an issue. By using a Devil Trigger explosion to push them both back at the same time though, they'll respond with their lunge attacks from either side, causing their weapons to clash and get launched out of their hands, giving you an opening to tack on some extra damage. After you hit them enough, they'll get in position for their jumping shockwave attack, which is easy to block and a prime opportunity for a just release leading to massive damage, especially if you combine it with a Devil Trigger explosion. I underestimated the damage I'd do here a little, so I had to finish them off with the significantly less flashy pistol shots, but getting this mission done and dusted is just as satisfying anyway. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments later guys.